Good afternoon. My name is Christine Oliveros, and I am a senior at Potomac High School. I am this year's valedictorian with a GPA of 4.12. My plans for the future are to attend University of Maryland College Park on a full 4-year scholarship to major in biology. My long-term goal is to become a pediatrician. Throughout my 4 years of high school, I was involved in the Air Force ROTC program. This program helped me in making my decision to serve in the United States Air Force as a medical doctor. Now, without further ado, I want to welcome you to this year's last Prince George's County Board of Education meeting for Monday, June 27, 2011. The highlight of this evening's meeting is the passing of the torch celebration to honor outgoing student member of the board, Jonathan Harris II, and welcoming incoming student member of the board, Faith Jackson. Please keep checking www.pgcps.org for upcoming board meetings and events. And now, the June 27 Board of Education meeting will begin.
Thank you for getting us started. Good evening and welcome to the June 27, 2011 special meeting of the Board of Education for Prince George's County. I ask that you turn off your wireless communications as they tend to interfere with the taping of the meeting. Our colleagues tonight, Amber Waller and Carolyn Boston, will not be in attendance. This meeting was called specifically for the sole purpose. It's a special meeting. It's not a regularly scheduled board meeting. It was called to accommodate Counsel for Possibility Prep so that he could be present when the board deliberates with regard to the one agenda item that we have. Sure. Tonight, immediately following, we have registered speakers to speak this evening. Before we get to the registered speakers, Ms. Dent, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Allwood. Ms. Boston. Mr. Burrows.
Aye.
Ms. Eubanks.
Aye.
Ms. Higgins.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Present.
Ms. Waller. Mr. Harris. Mrs. Beck.
Present.
Mrs. Jacobs.
Here. Thank you. Colleagues, prior to adoption of the agenda, please note that item 5.2, Excel Academy Charter School, has been deleted from the agenda. May I please have a motion to adopt the June 27, 2011 special board meeting agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second that we adopt the agenda as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any objections or abstentions? Seeing none. Colleagues, we move directly to public comment. We have 14 registered speakers for public comment on agenda item 5.1 who will speak for 3 minutes in a public comment forum. Where the board will listen to your comments, you must speak on the topic for which you have been registered. The board will not necessarily address your comments directly. At the sound of the buzzer, you may complete the sentence that you are on. You may not relinquish any part of your speaking time to another registered or unregistered individual. You're encouraged to use titles rather than names, such as board member, superintendent, executive director, etc. Please leave a copy of your statement if you have one with Mr. Bryant Coleman. Mr. Coleman, if you'll raise your hand. Thank you. Your adherence to these guidelines will enable public comment to go smoothly. Our first speaker is Jonathan Kraft. Please come forward.
My name is Jonathan Kraft. I am a rising 7th grader at Possibility Prep, and I rise in support of Possibility Prep. I plan to be a part of the first 8th grade class to go to the high school after I finish. With the help of my parents, my teachers, and with hard work, I am an honorable student. I am a straight A student, and I was selected to be a school ambassador. Possibility Prep gave me the opportunity to do things that I probably would not have been able to do at any other school in the county. Possibility gives us the chance to study science, robotics, and the solar system. Our school team almost won the solar system contest, but we still had fun, and I had a lot of new friends that also like science. I also liked my teachers. They encouraged me to do my best every day. Possibility Prep is important to me because, like your kids, I like video games. I want to grow up and become a successful video game engineer. I know Possibility Prep will help me to be a success in life. Everybody isn't a straight A student at Possibility, but that's why we need it to so everybody could be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. The Honorable Judge Thurman Rhodes.
Good evening. I last appeared before you at your meeting of May 19th, and let me first starting by apologizing to you for my presentation on that day. I was quite upset. The reason I was upset was because we had a meeting the day before, and there were certain agreements that we thought were met and that had been reached, and apparently when we appeared here, they were not addressed. So to the extent that my remarks may have seemed a bit offensive, I apologize for that, but I'm still here tonight as president of the Board of Possibility Prep. I have a prepared statement that is in the form of a PowerPoint that I will leave with you tonight, along with several other documents. One is the letter dated today to Dr. Height and the chair of the board, which will be given to you. The other is are two sets of documents, one dated February 15th of this year, which was a very extensive report submitted to this board on behalf of Possibility Prep in response to the probationary action. The other is a very extensive report submitted to you on April 1st of this year, following up on that early response. Let me address, though, just a couple of key issues in our response today. First, a couple core statements. Possibility Prep has never been envisioned as just another school. The goal from the beginning has reflected the board's desire, the board's desire as well as ours, to create a challenging education environment that is uniquely designed to prepare young men for higher education and careers of their choice. In response to your probationary action taken last February, the Board of Possibility Prep has provided a detailed action plan, as you will receive again today, that addresses all of the 6 points of that probationary action. In fact, Dr. Height confirmed at your May 19th meeting that we had met those concerns. And we reiterate that we have met them, and we show that they've been met here today. So the core issue we hear about today is our enrollment. Possibility Prep currently has 445 students who have committed to enrolling in this school for the 2011-2012 school year. The question is the verification of that 445, and Ms. Teresa Gershman will speak later on behalf of Edison as to the extent to which we have sent that information and the form that information has been submitted to the superintendent's office. The problem is in defining that number, and that's what we're asking for today, is the time to work with your staff to confirm that number. Although we recognize that that is not required for us to submit to you until September 20th, we have that information today, and it is verifiable. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Greg Wells, counsel.
Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. I guess I first need to thank you for your willingness to accommodate my scheduling conflict that prevented me from being here last Monday so that we could bring this matter to some sort of resolution before you. I am going to address just a couple of points here because I think what you will see and what you heard on May 19th. Let me start from the beginning. There is no question and there's no disagreement about the fact that Possibility Prep, like just about every charter school, public charter school, private school, public school, had problems during its first year of operation. No question about that. And there's no question that the administration responded the way a responsible administration should, and that was to get on top of the concerns about the administration of that school. And Possibility Prep, as you know, was placed on probation as a result of that, and as Judge Rhodes has indicated, and the superintendent, and if I use names, it's not out of disrespect, it's just I forget, as the superintendent confirmed at your May 19, 2011 meeting, those conditions of probation were substantially, if not completely, met. I know there's some concern, and it's been raised again, and it'll be talked about tonight, about STEM. What it comes down to is, and I'm going to direct you to page 3 of 8 of this board resolution, board action summary, second to the last paragraph. Dr. Height, the superintendent, has told you in that document that 188 students have registered for the 2011-2012 school year. That document has also told you that Possibility Prep submitted a document that contained the number of students that this school has represented to the administration who have committed to coming here to this school next year. That number is 444. There's no question that the school can meet its goal and would have undoubtedly met its goal had the action last month not been taken. But what it boils down to today is whether or not there is paperwork to verify the 444 students. Because I think what you will hear is, if that is true, that the fiscal issues, the fiscal concerns go away. So what is really needed here today is what we thought we had when we met on May 18th. And that was time. That was time to do what we're not legally obligated to do, but what we thought we should do, not only for our own concerns, but especially for the administration's concerns. And that was take out any fear that this school would not be able to operate financially because of its enrollment. We thought we were on that way when, before the action on May 19th was taken. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Michelle Kraft.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to summer vacation, or at least so I thought. My name is Michelle Kraft, and I rise tonight in support of Possibility Preparatory STEM Academy for Boys in Prince George's County, Maryland. I am the proud mother of Jonathan Kraft, who is a straight-A student and has been consistently on the honor roll. I am an everyday parent volunteer at Possibility, and in the last 10 months, I've served in many roles. I've worked in the parking lot directing cars in the cold and in the rain. I've monitored the hallways. I've supported teachers in the classrooms. I also worked with the school administration to set up different events and activities for the students. But the best part of my job is being what I have been known to be called, quote, end quote, the other mother, to all of the young men at Possibility. I do what I do not because I'm special, but because of the young men at Possibility. They are special. They deserve a chance in life that this county, that the school's mission, the school's educators, and the experience that Possibility Prep would afford their destiny. My family is not independently wealthy yet, so I feel fortunate to be able to devote as much time as I do to the hallways of Possibility. It is a small investment. It is a small but real investment to the future of Jonathan and every other young man that crosses the threshold of Possibility Prep. I am not the only mother that feels this way. There are many more like myself and would love to be able to invest in possibility and that want to see it survive, thrive, and want to see it around to help other young men have the same opportunity to succeed in life. My son is just one of many young men that have succeeded at Possibility. In spite of all the commotion and confusion surrounding the school survival, I have seen these kids thrive. They have improved and excelled in subjects of math, science, reading, technology. Even my husband has had to call on Jonathan's technology skills to help him out of a few situations. I've witnessed their renewed sense of passion about schooling because this county created a school that fueled their fire for the mysteries of earth science, engineering, and robotics. And I guess because of the buzzer, I have to quit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Marion Robinson.
Good evening. My name is Marion Robinson, and I'm here in support of Possibility Prep. I have 2 students who are enrolled to start the school this coming fall. I feel that the STEM model that Possibility Prep offers is a model that is way too valuable to cut. It is a model for middle school, and the model heads us in the right direction. This has been a part of the last 2 presidents' agenda since 2006. It's a part of the America Competes Act of 2007, and it's also a part of President Obama's Educate to Innovate campaign of 2010. We're definitely headed in the right direction with this school. It is stated, and I have references here that I will leave for the record, that a strong STEM workforce is viewed as an indicator of a nation's ability to sustain itself. We need to improve our U.S. competencies with K through 12 STEM education. Possibility Prep STEM Academy fits that model. We need to find ways to unlock the talent that we have here within PG County. How do we prepare our students for this journey without schools like Possibility Prep? Possibility Prep students built robotic models this past year. Now, how many of those students will now go on and be interested in engineering as their major that might have been too intimidated by engineering in the past? Imagine the positive impact this can make on the county school system. Possibility Prep is our next step. It's new programs like Possibility Prep that have 3 years to prove themselves. I think Possibility Prep deserves its 3 years. This can be a rare opportunity for PG County to lead in an area where we have trailed in the past. I have a little more time. I have 2 sons. They were evaluated for math. They just finished the 5th grade. One was evaluated at the mid-7th grade level. The other one was evaluated at the mid-8th grade level. I don't know of any other middle school in PG County that can adequately serve their needs. I have a 5th grader who is very passionate about the vortex of a storm or black holes. In his current middle school, in his current elementary school, when he talks to other kids about that, they laugh at him, think he's funny. When we toured Possibility Prep and he asked those same questions, there were other students in that school who could answer those questions. That's where my boys need to be, and I hope you keep the school open so that can happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. I want to acknowledge that Delegate Aisha Brayboy is here, and also we have speaking tonight the Honorable Tiffany Austin, Delegate for District 24.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent, Counsel. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, even under these circumstances. I'm here tonight in support of Possibility Prep, and I'm here tonight to ask you to not approve this resolution that has been prepared. I'm here tonight to ask you instead to go back to the drawing board with Possibility Prep and give them one more chance. Give them an opportunity to meet all of the conditions that you set out for them. Some of the things that I've noticed is you said that they haven't met the educational standards, that they're substantially deficient. They've only been in existence for one academic year, and we've barely completed that academic year before we're saying that the standards are substantially deficient. I believe, to be fair, they should be given another year so that there can at least be some measurements to take place. We don't know how they've done. What's the AYP standard? They're not on a watch list. There's so many unknowns. Give them the possibility, give them the opportunity to have one more year to see what changes they can affect. They just got a new principal in place. They started making substantial steps towards the things that you've asked them to do, and to close them down at this point would be a disservice to all of the parents and to all of the students who want the possibility of going to a school, an all-male school here in Prince George's County. This is a unique opportunity that we have, a unique opportunity we can have all males in a predominantly African-American county being educated together without the confines of peer pressure for girlfriends and clothing and things like that. They can focus on their education. They can focus on academics. They can focus on the science and technology that they thrive to learn. But they can't do that when they've been told that their charter is going to be revoked at the end of the school year. They need more time. We have charters that have more than 1 year because you need more time than a year to implement change in any system. And I'm sure you all know that as you try to implement change in this system that has needed it for so long. When I was growing up, my mother moved me to this county because she believed there were more possibilities and more opportunities for my brother and I to have a better education. That's why we moved to Prince George's County. And I'm a proud product of the public school system. And as we all know, our school system has been faced with numerous challenges, decrease in enrollment, funding problems at the state level, and we fight for those monies and we fight hard to make sure that we get the funds that we need. And right now I'm asking that you all fight on behalf of Possibility Prep. Give them the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of these young men that so desperately need it. Give them the opportunity to learn the science and technology. Give them one more chance to reach the possibilities, all of the possibilities, to be the next engineers, the next astronauts, the next doctors and physicists. Give them that opportunity to learn in the environment that the board has set up for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Austin. Bill Grimmett.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chairman. My name is Bill Grimmett. I'm the Vice President of the Maryland 100 Possibility STEM Preparatory Academy and Public Charter School for Boys, also known as Possibility Prep. I am a 66-year-old African-American male who does not have a child in this public school system, has never had a child in this public school system. And I am one of the founders of that school, and the 5 members of the board are old men who do not have children in this school system. But we heard the call, and the call was that we have African-American males who are deficient in preparation for college, preparation for STEM, and preparation for life. And we brought our application to you and asked you to give us a chance to bring the 100 black men to you and see if we could create a framework where we all together could fix this problem. We are not perfect. We have not been perfect. We are not going to be perfect, but we are going to do the most perfect job that we can to educate those boys. We have 445 lads. You have tens of thousands of children in Prince George's County just waiting for somebody to give them a chance. We said we will step up and give them that chance. What we're asking you tonight is don't take that chance away. Too many people have abandoned those boys. Across the nation, people are abandoning our boys. We can't do that. At least, if you don't vote for us, vote for the framework. I didn't have any of that written down. But, Madam Chairman, I am passionate about this, and so are my colleagues sitting on that board. We believe in this school. We believe in this opportunity. We believe in this vision, and we ask you to believe in the vision. Vote for the vision, not for the fission. Fission reaches to the core and explodes. You say we have a $150,000 deficit. The way we got there is that we negotiated with the staff. They told us we had to reassign 6 teachers. They told us just at the beginning of the winter break. After the winter break, we reassigned the 6 teachers, and they said, well, we're going to retroactively charge you that money. We said, whoa, we don't have that kind of money floating around. So we negotiated to wait until the top of the next year to pay that money back. We have not been charged with malfeasance, of mismanagement. We just have a deficit that was come by honestly. We have a STEM program. We've always had it. We bought it. We have a mentoring program. We've always had it. We bought it. What we're asking you to do is just consider the children. Who's going to answer for them? What's going to happen to them when we pull this framework from them and once again get in line to abandon them? Madam Chairman, I wish somebody would make a motion that this recommendation that to revoke possibility of prep be denied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grimmett. Teresa Gerchman.
Good evening. I wanted to take my time tonight to address the confusion around the enrollment spreadsheet that was submitted to the superintendent in terms of the 445 students' names on that spreadsheet. Under the enrollment status, there are 3 categories. The first category is accepted. Those are students who went through the lottery process and have either verbally or in writing accepted the placement at the school, but have not yet completed their paperwork to be registered, as well as currently enrolled students who have verbally committed to return to the school, but have not turned in their paperwork. Registered students include new students to the school who have completed all of their paperwork, as well as returning students to the school who have turned in all of their paperwork. Lottery students are students who applied to the school but have not declined or accepted placement at the school. These parents have expressed concern about committing to the school because they have read or been told the school is closed. There is also concerns about students lacking student number and address. Those are the currently enrolled students, and that information is available in School Max for those students. That's why their student numbers and addresses were not there. And the students who are lacking a student number but there was an address, those are the students who are new to the school and also not currently enrolled in Prince George County Public Schools. So they are students that are coming in from private schools or other areas. So that's why they do not currently have a student number, because they're not a current student. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gerchman. Calvin Brown. Calvin Brown. Okay. Robert Kraft.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I also rise tonight in support of working to keep Possibility Prep STEM Academy alive and open. I am the proud parent of Jonathan Kraft, an honor roll student, and I had the privilege of assisting Principal Johnson as PPSA's principal for the day through my involvement with the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. I rise tonight with a keen understanding of the issues that face this board. As a lifetime commercial banker, I know what it's like to look in the eyes of business owners that have to make hard decisions about what they can do and what they will do based on the bottom line. However, I invite this board tonight to see its challenges as opportunities for greatness and not limitations. As a father, one of my life challenges is to give my 2 sons all the advantages I can to make their lives successful. I would love to be able to afford a private school, but we cannot right now. So like other parents, we enrolled our son in PPSA. Our hesitation was not with the school, but with our son. We did not know how and whether it would be the right place for him, but we enrolled him. And then we threw our support in the mix too. Jonathan has rewarded our investment in him and excelled beyond our imagination, and we have thoroughly enjoyed being part of the solution. But I am not alone. There are many other fathers who also support PPSA, and we have demonstrated our commitment tangibly and also spiritually. We have monitored the hallways. We have assisted the teachers in the classroom. We have gone on field trips. We have encouraged our sons to stay focused and do their best. And yes, we have prayed that the Almighty will do what only He can to remedy this situation. I am not the only father in the county that feels this way. So tonight, as you consider your decision, please consider this. This board has a unique opportunity to not only make history, but to rewrite history. For hundreds of young minority males, society has already written their life story. It may be one of neither accomplishment nor distinction, but this board has the opportunity to create a can-do atmosphere, sharpen its pencil, find the courage, and do the right thing to make the success of these young men not only possible, but probable. On behalf of all the fathers in this county that value the advantages that PPSA can offer, I ask you to embrace the opportunity to rewrite history on behalf of hundreds of other young Jonathan Crafts that need your confidence, that need your ongoing investment toward realizing their destiny. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Boris Johnson. Raymond Lucas.
Good evening, Madam Chairman. My name is Raymond Lucas, and greetings to everyone on the board, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Raymond Lucas, and I'm president of 100 Black Men of Maryland. One of the key points that I wanted to make, and just to net it out, 100 Black Men of Maryland is still and has always been very involved in this school. To my dismay, I guess around May 15th, the resolution that was posted on the website resulted in my phone mail being filled up for 2 consecutive weeks because it said specifically, quote, 100 Black Men of Maryland is no longer associated with this charter school. And that's caused a lot of significant problems in the whole enrollment process, with parents being confused. Some parents had said, well, hey, you know, we were going to get involved with this school, but it looks like one of the reasons it attracted us to it was the fact that 100 Black Men was involved. And, you know, so those are the kinds of things that we've been battling with. And I do believe that what's on the website now was changed. However, it was on there long enough to cause enough significant impact, not only on our ability to enroll students, but in our ability to recruit more men in the Prince George's County community to step up and help us at Possibility Prep. I also am one of the founders of the school and have intense passion to ensure we create as many Jonathan Crafts as we can. And one of the things that I'm going to leave with you all also, and I'll leave these pictures with you, is what these young men will look like in the future. Project it out. You may not be able to see this real clearly, but I'm going to leave all of these, you know, high-resolution pictures with you so you can see the vision that we are working with these young men together to create for them. And you know, we're always talking about careers and that type of thing, but to actually show them in that career and help them formulate that vision is going to help develop that path for them to get there, without a doubt. So, and I am generously leaving these wonderful pictures that I carry around with me everywhere for this board to see. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Silencia Logan. Gwendolyn James. All right, colleagues, that concludes our public comment list of speakers on agenda item regarding possibility prep. Mr. Coleman, I would ask that if you would bring the PowerPoint presentation to the board as Dr. Height prepares for his presentation, the one that was left by Judge Rhodes, please. Dr. Height, I yield to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, good evening, members of the board. The board is considering my recommendation to revoke the charter for Possibility STEM Charter School. As the board knows, on May 20th, 2011, this board approved or provided Possibility STEM with notice of its intent to terminate and revoke the charter agreement with Possibility STEM and provided the charter school with 30 days to cure the stated causes for termination. In specific, the charter school was required to submit a proposed budget for the 2011-2012 school year that addressed, among other things, the $150,000 deficit and its proposal on how it will operate with a balanced budget moving forward. The charter school was also to address the issue of projected enrollment for school year 2011-2012. Finally, the charter school was required to demonstrate its plan for a full implementation of STEM curriculum. So I'll go through each of these just to provide the board with some context. And I'm not going to read the board action summary that's in front of you, but I do want to provide some information as you deliberate on my recommendation. So for the budget deficit, Possibility STEM Charter Agreement requires the school to submit a proposed budget for the 2011-2012 school year by March 15, 2011. The charter school sent its budget to the school system by email on April 1, 2011. As of May 2011, Possibility STEM was operating with a deficit of approximately $150,000. Although the proposed budget includes repayment of the $150,000 deficit, the budget presented assumes that the charter school will be funded based upon enrollment of 448 students. Possibility STEM's charter agreement requires the school to maintain a minimum enrollment of students in accordance with the charter application. For the current year, or the just completed year, for 2010-2011, Possibility was required to maintain a minimum number of 400 students. As the board knows, during the 2010-2011 school year, Possibility STEM experienced a steady exodus of students. Although the school was originally funded based on 448 students, that funding was later adjusted downward as a result of a decline in student enrollment, and the school was subsequently funded at 326 students. Ultimately, the school was overfunded by 120 students for the school year. Because of these enrollment concerns, the charter school was asked to provide verifiable evidence of the number of students that have registered for enrollment for school year 2011-2012. The administration requested in writing to Possibility that the school provide a copy of the PA-14 form, which is a standard registration form that students complete to enroll in school. This is no different than what we ask all other lottery-based programs to provide. Instead of providing this information on June 16, 2011, Possibility submitted a list of students on a spreadsheet. While the spreadsheet did identify some students as registered, it also reflected other students as accepted or lottery. The administration has not been able to verify whether the students identified as registered have actually completed the registration form or provided proof of residency in the county, and Possibility has not provided valid student identification numbers or addresses for these students. Currently, Possibility represents that it has 188 students registered, but it has not provided verifiable evidence of these registrations. Finally, on the issue of enrollment, the board should be cognizant that for the upcoming 2011-2012 school year, Possibility has received almost half the number of applicants than they had a year ago. Also want to talk just very briefly about the STEM curriculum. To demonstrate its implementation of STEM, the governing board initially presented a one-page timeline that provided information about what it had done to implement STEM prior to being placed on probation. My deputy superintendent met with the governing board and expressed the inadequacy of this response. Therefore, on April 1, 2011, the governing board resubmitted its timeline for full implementation of a STEM curriculum. The follow-up response did not provide a level of assurance that the governing board understood STEM or how to implement STEM in the middle school setting. Possibility subsequently purchased a STEM elective curriculum program that offered a STEM course for 6th and 7th grade students. It also purchased an engineering program to be offered as an elective at the school. However, the timeline did not address any of the other components of STEM that should be offered at the middle school, including higher level mathematics and science. So in conclusion, thus, given these concerns about curriculum, budget, and student enrollment issues for Possibility STEM, and a thorough evaluation of the information provided by the charter school to the administration following the issue of the board's notice of intent to revoke the charter agreement, I have concluded that enrollment, budget, and educational program issues have not been adequately resolved during the cure period and recommended that the Board of Education terminate the charter agreement with Maryland 100 Black Men Charter School Initiative, Inc. Concludes my remarks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Height. Colleagues, prior to entering into any discussion, as chair, I will recognize a motion if there is one.
I move we uphold the superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the board accepts the superintendent's recommendation to revoke the charter for Possibility Prep STEM Charter School. Is there any discussion? Mr. Burrows.
Dr. I thank you for your presentation. Thank you to the school for their presentation. Dr. Hyde, is it true that the charter school does not have to present their enrollment numbers until September? Is that a part of their contract?
I think that reference was to a cure pyramid or their understanding of the deadline. We have made a recommendation that we have those enrollment numbers by June 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Hyde, can I further state, the reference that you're making, Mr. Burrows, actually has to do with the section from the charter school agreement. And that language talking about the September deadline is intended for the purposes of building the budget. However, considering the challenges that the charter school had this past school year, mm-hmm. we certainly would contend that it is reasonable and certainly legal to require the charter to, demonstrate its viability at this stage in the process and to present some verifiable information on its student enrollment data.
And Dr. Hyde, is there a STEM curriculum active in the school? Because I remember, in the document that we received, requesting that we send 90-day notice, the lack of STEM curriculum was a significant basis for your reason. Is there a STEM curriculum active now or scheduled to be active at the beginning of the school year?
Yes, the Possibility they have purchased a STEM elective curriculum that offered a STEM course for 6th and 7th grade students.
And so is STEM elective curriculum different than what they had agreed in their charter to do?
The charter really dealt with my understanding of the charter was to deal with a comprehensive STEM program where STEM related components were a part of each course. And so therefore you had higher levels of math, higher levels of science. That degree of a STEM curriculum or a STEM curriculum to that degree is not in existence at the moment, but they're continuing to work through the development of that.
Okay, and so enrollment was another huge piece. They mentioned, and like I said, the board just received, these documents just now, so, I haven't had a chance to review them all, but on one of the slides, and I believe this is what the lady was referencing, the enrollment slide, it says 445 students have shown interest, and I believe she said the difference between shown interest and enrolled is that they verbally agreed to attend the school, but they're still working on their paperwork. Is that correct?
That's my interpretation of the statement too, Mr. Burrows.
Okay.
Yes. But at the moment, we can show verification for a much smaller number. We can't verify that there are 440 students, or in excess of 440 students, simply because the spreadsheet is not, the spreadsheet has students who have registered, other students who have accepted, other students that are through lottery, and so we can't determine by that spreadsheet who's actually registered, because we use a PA 14 to determine registration for all of our other lottery-based programs.
And Mr. Thomas, I guess my last question, today if there is not an agreement, what happens between the board? If there is not, 6 votes, what happens? Or Ms. Hairston? Well, the student member is able to vote on the charter school, so.
No, Mr. Burrows, that's incorrect. The student member would not be able to vote because student member is specifically precluded from voting on opening and closing of schools under the law. So this is a school. So you would need to have 5 board members vote in order for the superintendent's recommendation to be upheld.
So the student member is able to vote on contracts, though. And this is, so when I was a student member, I actually voted for this, and I was the deciding vote for this. So as a student member, I was able to vote on this school.
Well, all I can tell you is that essentially this is the vote in essence is to close the school if you revoke the charter.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Burrows. Ms. Higgins?
Thank you. Dr. Height, in the material that was presented to the board, in that material it says that for year 1, the enrollment was to be 400 minimum and 448 maximum. And in year 2, the enrollment was to be 500 minimum and 560 maximum. Is that correct?
That is correct, but we're not using the higher number because as a part of the probation status, that they were prohibited from expanding to 9th grade. So the 500 number is, that was based on extending it, adding a grade next year for 9th grade.
Okay. And so then we're looking at the 400 minimum to 448 maximum criteria.
That's correct.
And then your recommendation that they are at 445, or they say they're at 445, and that is not verifiable because we, or the administration in writing, sent guidelines that they were to submit their enrollment on a PA 14 form, which would have made it clear what the status was of all the students. Am I hearing that right?
That's correct. That's our standard registration form.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Higgins. Mr. Armwood?
Thank you. I think the presentations tonight were persuasive and moving. I find it very unpleasant to have made the motion that I've made tonight, but process is the process. I was excited when I first heard about Possibility Prep and the opportunity it has for its children and the involvement of 100 men. We need that program, but we need it to be done right. We have a fiduciary responsibility to 187,000 students in our system. We have a responsibility to protect our resources and the students see that they get taught correctly. The STEM program, as I understand it, is not an elective that's to be an integrated part of your curriculum. It does not appear that's been done. And that's the reason I've made the motion that I made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armwood. Ms. Johnson?
Madam Chair, members of the board, all charter applications that come to PGCPS, since I've been a member of this board, I actually read them. And our legal counsel can tell you, I will call, I will make an appointment, and they will either deliver the document, which is usually a big notebook, to the board office. I have a certain number of hours to be able to read it. I will then do that, make notes, ask them questions. I will call, I probe. And there was no difference with Possibility Prep. My concern has always been that a STEM curriculum is not just an idea whose time has come. It is expensive, it is challenging, and therefore requires that everything is to be in place. In order to be clear and transparent, when Edison came to the state of Maryland many years ago, back in the 70s, I also had the opportunity to go to other locations outside of Maryland, and also, to be clear, was asked to join the Edison staff to promote the process within Edison and how they would deliver education. I declined. However, in looking at whether or not they could produce a school of the caliber that I believe is important, I looked at the charter. And then, as I look at the document that has just been delivered this evening that says timeline, in which there are items about why this happened, when that happened, and the rationale for others, I can, if I remember correctly in reading the original, Edison was to provide the hardware in order to enable the school to get off the ground. And each month I asked, when did the hardware arrive? It had not. And finally, PGCPS had to move the process forward and actually, through our IT division, got the hardware into the building for the children to be able to begin the work. So from day one, there have been concerns, there have been excuses, there has been this, that, or the other. No one denies the passion of the parents, the passion of the founders, the passion of the board. However, we have got to deliver a product that was promised, and that product did not get delivered. There are many reasons for that. But to say, oh, well, give them another chance, give them another chance. Children's opportunity to learn is now. They've already had a year. How many children had to leave? How many parents left? We cannot do a wing and a prayer when it comes to, one, taxpayer money and the life of children to learn. We do not deny that a STEM school is what is important, but it didn't get delivered, and it is not through the fault of PGCPS. We've had changeover of principals. We had a great number of children with special needs that had to be addressed. All kinds of things happened, and it is not what we would like, but we must tell the truth, and we must be honest. The children have not been well served, and they left, to the point that I think the final number, Dr. Hyde, is 126. when we ended the school year? If I remember the document.
226, Ms. Johnson.
226.
Yes, ma'am.
226 from 400 plus. That is huge. And we need to find out, and we have, why did those families leave? So I accept your recommendation, Dr. Height. I have attempted to do due diligence with regard to a STEM curriculum, looking at other school districts where there are other charter schools that produce STEM programming. This school did not even come close. In addition, I read the original charter and what they guaranteed to do for children. They did not do so. And therefore, the time and all of the timeline of what this staff had to do to help get them back on track, I think you have done what you were supposed to do, and therefore, I will be supporting this resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Mr. Burrows.
Dr. Height, academically, based on the FAST test, is this school on par with our other schools?
It was on the FAST 1 and FAST 2, Mr. Burrows. I'm not familiar enough with the FAST 3 scores to give you that information. But FAST 1 and FAST 2 were on par with the other schools.
With, you have the AYP scores back. And is it on par with our other schools in the district?
Yeah, no, we don't have AYP.
Oh, you don't?
Yet. No.
I guess I definitely understand not allowing them to add a grade because of their financial situation and because of the struggles that they've had. However, I really do believe in the mission of the school, and I see the need for all-male charter school in Prince George's County. And I believe long-term, this charter school is something that this district could be proud of. I recognize the several issues that have been raised throughout this process, and they are valid, and I expect for the charter school to comply with those issues that have been raised. With that being said, it's only been 1 year, and it's tough to judge anything within 1 year, and so I will not be supporting Mr. Armwood's motion because it's only been 1 year. And I recognize, our students deserve the best, always. But I realize our students deserve the best. And my vote was really based on when Dr. Height said that this school is on par with our other schools. And because this school is not, not performing academically, that's not the issue. I will be supporting extending it for a year.
Thank you, Mr. Burrows. Dr. Height, I had two questions. One relates to when we first got the application for this particular charter, the administration was pleased with, or at least to the extent that the board, you presented it to the board to be open, and the board approved this this charter to be open. At that time, and I think one of the major issues that has sort of, at least for me, has been the STEM category. I mean, that's what made it so attractive, obviously, and then also being an all-boys school. So in light of that, what would be the impact, two things, if we left this school open and then sometime throughout the summer, the enrollment numbers still can't be verified? And then two, is there any prohibition, to your knowledge, where this group would not be allowed to apply again for a charter school, if that were the case?
I'll answer the second question first, Madam Chair. No, there is no prohibition against applying or reapplying for another charter. The impact would be a couple of things. Number one, we have students who are obviously on multiple wait lists, or students who have been accepted to multiple programs. One of the reasons we had problems with the Excel spreadsheet is because it's listing students that have already accepted other programs. So some of the students that are classified under lottery have already turned in a PA-14 for other programs. That's one of the reasons we use PA-14s to make that verification. That's one impact. The second impact is, just as we've heard some compelling testimony from students and parents of students who remained, we heard equally compelling testimony from parents and students who left the school. And when you have that number of students leaving the school, when we've entered into a contractual agreement to fund literally at 200 more students than than the number that ended the school year, that becomes a huge budgetary issue for us. The final issue is that one of notifying staff. We have to notify staff by a date certain. If we don't notify staff by that date, then we carry those individuals as additional staff. And so that notification window is why we had to get a decision from the board by this date.
Okay, thank you. Any other deliberations, colleagues? Seeing none, there's a motion on the floor. The motion on the floor is to accept the superintendent's recommendation for revocation of the charter between Possibility Prep and Prince George's County Public Schools. Ms. Dent, call the roll, please.
On the motion, Mr. Armwood.
Aye.
Mr. Barrows.
No.
Ms. Eubanks. Pass. Ms. Higgins.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Aye.
Mrs. Beck.
Aye.
Ms. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Eubanks.
Aye.
Six to one, motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Dent. Dr. Height, I would, motion's done, it's passed, I know we voted. I strongly recommend that the administration, as much as possible, encourage that we continue to have this kind of program in the county. I know that we talked about contract schools and things of that nature, and it's been a tough year. I understand that. You know, I had a heart-wrenching parent tell me that she felt her child for sending him to this school at this time, and that hurts. But I think, as excited as we were to get this school open, I'm just as disappointed right now. So while I know the community often comes to us around these issues, I'm encouraging that we really reach out and make sure we have this type of program, and that's why I asked you about any prohibition for new applications. Colleagues, that brings us to public comment on non-agenda items. We have 3 registered speakers for public comment on non-agenda items. You will speak for 3 minutes in a public comment forum. The board will listen to your comments. You may speak only on the topic for which you have been registered. We will not address your comments, however. At the sound of the buzzer, you may complete the sentence that you're on. If it's an issue specific to your child, we will have the administration address those directly. Leave a copy of your statement with Mr. Bryant Coleman so that the board may also further review your public comments. The first speaker is Donna Gray. Ms. Gray, please come forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Gray. I wanted to comment about the No Child Left Behind. My daughter has been an honor roll student in Prince George's County Schools since the 3rd grade. Last August, she started 7th grade at a middle school in Fort Washington, Maryland. The first week of school, my daughter was on the receiving end of a couple of bullying and assault situations involving a pair of scissors, which only got the other girl suspended 1 day. How could that be? I filed charges, and the other student was charged with second-degree assault and harassment. My daughter had to transfer to another school, which was unfair. She didn't do any wrong. She was depressed and traumatized. Because of that, my daughter's doctor put in several requests for home and hospital schooling, which was denied. My daughter was out of school for about 5 months. She did not get her education for 5 months. My daughter had to transfer to another school, which is 8.5 miles from my home, and was denied transportation. What about the No Child Left Behind Act? Is it really a zero tolerance for bullying? Her grades and her attendance on her transcript was falsified. Can you fix this, Dr. William Height? I was trying to get a meeting with you for the past 3 months, but they keep saying that you're busy and you don't have any openings, so I just figured I'd come here and speak to you so you can hear what's going on with my daughter. Can you please investigate this? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Dr. Hyde, if you would have staff directly, of course, you may not be able to meet with parents at all times, but if you would have staff follow up, and also follow up in light of the legislation that talks about which child gets moved in incidents like this. Thank you. Jacqueline Zier.
Good evening. I'm speaking before you today on behalf of the approximately 240 National Board Certified Teachers. As you know, Prince George's County Public Schools reneged on the contractual arrangement in the school year 2009-2010 to pay us the $5,000 for our National Board Certified Teaching status, stating that the school system did not have enough funds, causing us to also miss the $1,000 to $2,000 matching funds that were offered to us by Maryland State Department of Education. As a result, National Board Certified Teachers are leaving Prince George's County, and good teachers are choosing not to become National Certified Teachers, not to pursue the process, saying, why should I, when if I don't achieve or if I leave the process, I'm going to have to pay my money back through garnishment of my income tax refund, but Prince George's County can choose not to pay me by just saying we don't have enough money. So a lot of people are choosing not to pursue National Board Certification. Now, this is all information that you know, and although I'm not certain at this point that you really understand the ramifications of what's happening to the students of Prince George's County Public Schools. Dr. Height, you remember when we received our National Board Certification pins in the pinning ceremony in 2010, and you and Donald Briscoe asked us as nationally certified teachers to step forth and move from our comfortable schools into troubled schools, to bring our expertise and to bring all that we had gained through national certification. And I'm wondering now, with the imbalance of what's been offered, what's been promised, what's been reneged on, are you seeing that happening? Are you seeing those of us who had an opportunity to step into those troubled schools really rallying for that? You might take a look at that. As you can tell, this is still a very sore point with me. It's over and done as far as I understand. We won't be receiving our money that was promised to us. However, it was made even more acutely painful by an incident of some severe monetary waste that has recently come to my attention. Last month, a large number of Prince George's County employees received a letter by certified mail, return receipt requested from Human Resources. In essence, the letter said, "Dear employee, we regret to inform you that you might not have your same position next year as you had this year." How hard is that for us to figure out in a troubled budgetary time? Everybody in the county knows that. And yet, $5.59 per employee was spent to send these letters certified, return receipt requested. Now, I have gotten this information for the $5.59 from the school board, from the post office and verified by the mail room. And I would like for you to check into this. It comes to $270,000 spent on these letters that could have been sent a much more cost-efficient way. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Khan?
Good evening. I'm speaking not just for Citizens for Elected Board, but also as a member of the NAACP Education Committee, which is a proud member of our coalition. I want to follow up on Juanita Miller's remarks last week when the buzzer went off. She hadn't quite finished. The NAACP is not only interested in getting a response to its letter, it's interested in action by the board to make board meetings more accessible to parents and community members, and to change the public participation component of your meetings to the way it was before, at the beginning of the meeting. We all know that there are reasons why the board has to move its meetings around, that they can't all be on the same day, they can't all be at the same time. But it looks to many of us like you haven't set up a regular meeting date and time. If you need 2 meetings a month, you could set it to be the first and fourth Thursday, or maybe some months you only need 1. Set out your calendar long in advance. Try to make it the same day of the week if you can, the same time of day. And if you have to change from that, that's understandable. Don't have meetings during the day. People can't come. And it's a good way to dampen public participation. If you save things for midnight, most people who want to comment on non-agenda items are not going to be there, and you know that. Very few of them answer to their name because it's too late, particularly people with small children, people who have to work the next day. You have to be here, I know that, and you'll be here the exact same number of minutes whether they speak earlier or later. So I hope you'll take this into consideration. Beyond that, I noticed something last week with the calling of the question. And then I went home and I took a look at your board rules for it. And your bylaw says you follow Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, except where there are changes made in your bylaws. Your bylaw does carve out an exception. Under Roberts, there's no discussion after the question is called. Here you allow whoever has already lit up to speak. But what happens then is not cutting off debate. It is a motion to cut off debate, which has to pass by an extraordinary majority. I think it's 2/3. Otherwise, one member can hijack the rest of the board merely by calling the question, even if all the other members of the board don't want to stop debate. That's not how Roberts does it. Your rules don't carve out an exception for that, and you shouldn't let one member be able to dictate to a board majority. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Colleagues, that concludes our public comment on non-agenda items. We still have several items to address in executive session, so we'll be returning to executive session. Dr. Hyde, anything else for the good of the order?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned, and we will reconvene in executive session. Oh, no. Is she here? Actually, we will do the passing of the torch now. You want to do that now? Yes. Okay. Is she here? Could all join me up front, please, as we congratulate and honor Mr. Jonathan Harris III, our student board member. Okay, the second. And also pass the torch, allow him to pass the torch to our new board member, Ms. Jackson.
Jackson?
She's here. She's here somewhere. But before we do that, So I just want to take this opportunity to give Jonathan a hard time, but at the same time let him know that we have been so grateful and so gracious to have him as our student board member, and to watch him from day one to now has been really exciting. He is, I don't know if I've talked him into law school yet, but we know that he's gotten a lot of experience, and he'll be going to Wisconsin, of all places, for school. So there's such a political issue going on in Wisconsin right now, so we thought it would be a perfect timing for him as well. So he'll be reporting back, and I told him that I actually have someone in Wisconsin who can watch him and report to me. I haven't told him who it is yet. So thank you for your service on the board. We are delighted to have had you be one of the members, and maybe there's other comments by Dr. Height.
Yeah, I too want to congratulate Jonathan. And I first met Jonathan when I was doing a student focus group at Dr. Henry Wise High School. And Jonathan talked about the focus group, and he talked about the quality of the school lunches. And he asked if there were opportunities for him to speak publicly. So that very next summer, he was one of our featured student speakers at summer leadership to all of our principals and administrators, and did a fabulous job. And I knew from that point forward, I think you were in the 10th grade then, right? Yeah, 10th grade. And from that point forward, I knew that this young man was destined for great things, not just here in Prince George's County, but beyond his days in high school. So Jonathan, I want to personally thank you. I want to thank you for being a learner. I want to thank you for trying to connect with the mentor that I set you up with. I want to thank you for challenging me on the wardrobe. And I want to thank you for being a real voice with respect to student leadership. So thank you. Congratulations. Best of luck to you. Thank you.
We also want to acknowledge and recognize his parents, who I know are proud of Jonathan, but one thing that's really stood out to me is that his parents at the very beginning met with us and talked about what their expectations were. And that hasn't happened with every student board member, but I think that's very critical to have parents who are also engaged in the process, and engaged to the point that they say, if there's any problems, you let us know. So we really appreciate and congratulate you on his accomplishments as well. And you please feel free to come up, because we're going to take pictures as well, parents. Now, I'm going to turn this over actually at this point to Mr. Harris, unless anyone else has anything else, so that he can welcome. So take this the right way, but we have a young lady who's going to be our next student board member. I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Harris, I'm yielding to you.
All right, so I had a speech. It's right here, but I'm just going to speak from the heart. First, I have to thank my parents and my brother and sister, because it really all started with them. They gave me the drive to always push myself harder and harder, and say that if it's not 100%, then it's nothing at all. So I have to thank my mom and dad. Thank you. And then so what does it mean to be a student member? It's pretty simple. It's just to represent the students and as their collective voice. It's not always easy. I missed half my senior year. I didn't get to have as much fun, but it was really all worth it. And Faith, you're going to have an extraordinary time. It's going to be an extraordinary ride. So to my colleagues, thank you. One of the things that I love the most about you guys is you guys always supported me. That tough love, as my parents call it. You didn't always agree with me, and I'm glad you didn't, because most of the time you guys were right. Most of the time you guys are right.
Now he tells me.
And this, every single one of you guys gave me something that bettered myself But I think the best thing you guys did was you told me before I opened my mouth to do my research. And that's probably the best thing you guys could have told me to do. So Faith, the best thing I can say is do your research before you say anything, because people will point out every flaw in your argument. So make sure you know the argument and the counter argument. Yeah, go to law school. To Dr. Height, Dr. Coleman-Potter, and to the executive staff, words cannot describe how much you guys mean to the system. I know that, the board and the public, we always don't give you guys the appreciation that you guys deserve. But I know personally, I don't ever want to be a superintendent anymore. Being president is out. It is extremely hard, and I understand what you guys go through. And it's frustrating, knowing that we don't know all the answers. That's one of the most frustrating things, is not knowing all the answers. To the board staff, especially, Ms. Dent, Ms. Brown, and I think also Ms. Jackson is here. They kept me really grounded. It's really hard trying to balance school life and also do, the Board of Education and have your personal lives. And Ms. Dent will always call me every 5 seconds. John, are you here? Are you getting there on time? Thank you. That really meant a lot. She taught me how to properly email people, which is very important. Because some of the times I get an email back and they tell me that's not the proper way to write an email, and I'm glad she did that, because now I have to send emails all the time now. So that was really helpful. And come on up here, Mr. Moody. Come on up here. This is Mr. Moody. He's my mentor as a student member. He's also the PGRAS advisor. And I also would like to call up Jacob Cogman, our new PGRAS president, because I would like to present something to Mr. Moody right now in honor of what he's done this year. So, Jacob, can you come up here, please? I know you're not all dressed up, but it's okay. We're going to make it work. Yeah. And I see also in the audience we have Morgan Shepard, our former student board member. I believe she was the last female student member before Faith. Is that correct? One more after her. Okay. So to acknowledge her, but Mr. Moody, it's over here. I gotta get behind you. And Jacob, can you get over here also? We didn't get a chance this year to acknowledge everything, all your hard work. I know myself, I can't deal with my own colleagues, meaning the students. I can't even deal with them. But for you to come every week and deal with all of our drama every week, we had drama on some level. In every initiative I tried to do, from voter registration to bullying, you were right there and you never told me no. I think one of the best things you did for me is you let me make my own mistakes, and you only stopped me from making the big mistakes. And I have to say that you are so valuable to our system. And you're going to be so valuable to Faith. So I just want to thank you. Gosh, I'm getting emotional. I just want to thank you for your service. And last but not least, I'm really excited about our new student board member. A lot of people don't know, but I'm at Faith on the first day of school on the bus as we were riding to Thomas Pullen High School, also with Jacob Cogman. So, Thomas Pullen Polar Bears were representing here in leadership. And back then, Faith was, a very focused and talented dancer. And she's really blossomed now. She not only dances, she's a soccer star at Flowers High School. She's number 1 in her class. So I just want to let the students out there know that you probably have somebody better stepping into the role of student member. And I'm so proud of what she does. I'm not going to tell you her SAT scores, but they are really high, because I don't want to put that out. But her SAT scores is amazing. And I think the one thing I like about Faith the most is that she ran her own platform. She had her own ideas. She was inventive. She invented a lot of new things that I didn't even think about, and a lot of students over the past years didn't think about. And I know one thing that Faith is going to do is she's going to think for herself. And one of the hard decisions I had to make as a student member was knowing that the students wanted me to do one thing, but I knew what was best for the students. And I know Faith is going to be able to walk that fine line. And even though the students want, let's say, honors classes, or something like this, let's say the students want all laptops, and we know we can't do it, I think Faith will be able to let them know in the best way possible and make those hard decisions, because it's going to come down to the hard decisions. We made hard decisions today, and you're going to be right there. So Faith, this isn't a torch. It's a portfolio that I had one similar to this when I was a student member, and it will definitely help you out. So Faith, this is a little token to hopefully make your transition easier, and you're always welcome to call me. And I'm going to just pass the mic to you now, or take a picture. I'll pass the mic to you now. This is your board as of July 1st. July 1st.
Well, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to start off by thanking you all for staying here. I wanted to thank my mom. She's right there in the front row. John, John gave me a great introduction. This isn't exactly a torch, but comes close. He's going to be a tough act to follow, but not only do I want to start my own things, but I want to continue a lot of his initiatives because he's done some great stuff with this county. Definitely his voter registration drive was amazing, and with the 2012 general election fast approaching, I think that's definitely something we want to continue so that our students will be able to fulfill, their civic duties with the right means, the right information, and all that. I'd also like to invest in address other things like volunteer work, all other things, but I know John will definitely be great support with that, and he's done a great job, and he'll be able to help me with all of that. Lastly, I think I'll be remiss if I didn't thank my family and friends who supported and encouraged me, and I didn't thank the students who elected me. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Welcome aboard. Mr. Harris, we have a presentation for you. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. So, Mr. Harris, in appreciation of your tireless efforts, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the student, staff, and constituents of Prince George's County Public Schools on this 27th day of June 2011, respectfully, Prince George's County Board of Education.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to say this is, since I'm new to the board, Mr. Harris, I've been really impressed by his seriousness, his dedication, and just it's been a real pleasure to serve on the board with Mr. Harris. He's the example of what I hope we always have on the student council, as a student board representative, and I know Faith will fall in that same mode. I just want to let you know, you talk about working with the parents. We've already received instructions from Mom, Ms. Jackson, that we will have no more of these midnight sessions. She must be out of here at a decent hour.
My parents said the same thing. Faith, you have to stay as long as they stay. Thank everybody for coming. Thank the Board of Education. Thank the board staff. We have food in the back for everybody to eat. And Faith, I wish you the best. It's going to be the best. Like I said, you have my phone number. You can call me anytime. I promise you I won't answer every time because I'm going to be having so much fun in Wisconsin. But this is your time. And take every opportunity. There's so many opportunities that you will have that you can actually bring on other people in your community. There's so many opportunities if you can take every opportunity because they're all going to count. They'll all make a difference. And thank everybody for coming out.
Officially adjourn this board meeting, June 27, 2011. The time is 7:50. We are now adjourned. But colleagues, remember, we still have to go to executive session.